In the heart of the ancient Near East, amid the shifting sands and the relentless sun, a book emerged that would shape the spiritual and legal landscape of a people for millennia. This book, known as Leviticus, is a dense and often bewildering text, filled with laws and rituals that can seem alien to modern readers. Yet, it is within this ancient document that the foundation of one of the world's most enduring religious traditions is laid. Leviticus is not just a collection of arcane rules. It is a profound exploration of what it means to be holy, to live in a world where the sacred and the profane are constantly in tension. This video will delve into the heart of Leviticus, examining its themes, structure, and enduring significance, to uncover the deeper meaning behind its intricate legalism and ritualistic practices. Leviticus, the third book of the Torah, is often overshadowed by the more narrative-driven books of Genesis and Exodus. While Genesis tells the story of creation and the patriarchs, and Exodus recounts the dramatic exodus from Egypt and the receipt of the Ten Commandments, Leviticus is a more technical and legalistic text. It is primarily concerned with the rituals, sacrifices, and purity laws that govern the relationship between the Israelites and their God. The book is divided into several sections, each focusing on different aspects of the cultic life of the Israelites. The first part deals with the various types of sacrifices, including burnt offerings, grain offerings, and sin offerings. The middle sections address issues of purity and impurity, including rules for skin diseases, bodily discharges, and the purification of the sanctuary. The final section, known as the Holiness Code, contains a series of laws that extend the concept of holiness to all aspects of life, from sexual conduct to social justice. At first glance, the detailed and sometimes graphic descriptions of sacrifices and purity rituals can seem tedious and even off-putting. However, these laws and practices are not merely arbitrary or outdated. They are deeply rooted in the Israelites' understanding of their relationship with God and their place in the world. The central concern of Leviticus is the concept of holiness, which is closely tied to the idea of separation or division. The Hebrew verb hivdal, meaning to divide or to separate, appears throughout the book, emphasizing the importance of maintaining clear boundaries between the sacred and the profane, the clean and the unclean, and the holy and the common. The book begins with a series of detailed instructions for the various types of sacrifices. These sacrifices serve as a means of communication between the Israelites and God, allowing them to express their devotion, seek forgiveness, and maintain their relationship with the divine. The burnt offering, for example, is a whole animal that is completely consumed by fire, symbolizing the complete dedication of the offerer to God. The grain offering, on the other hand, is a gift of the first fruits of the harvest, acknowledging God's provision and expressing gratitude. The sin offering and the guilt offering are designed to atone for unintentional and intentional sins, respectively, restoring the individual or community to a state of purity and right standing with God. The laws of purity and impurity, which form a significant portion of the book, are perhaps the most challenging for modern readers. These laws address a wide range of issues, from skin diseases and bodily discharges to the purification of the sanctuary and the handling of dead bodies. The underlying principle is that certain conditions or actions can render a person or object unclean, and thus unable to participate in the cultic life of the community. For example, a woman who has given birth is considered unclean for a period of time and must undergo a purification ritual before she can return to the sanctuary. Similarly, a person who comes into contact with a corpse is temporarily unclean and must go through a purification process. These laws may seem harsh and restrictive, but they serve a crucial purpose in the context of the Israelite world-view. The tabernacle, the portable sanctuary that the Israelites carried with them during their journey through the wilderness, was the central place of worship and the dwelling place of God's presence. The tabernacle was divided into several areas, each with its own level of sanctity. The outer court, where the altar of burnt offerings stood, was accessible to all Israelites. The holy place, where the lampstand, table of showbread, and altar of incense were located, could only be entered by the priests. The most holy place, where the Ark of the Covenant was kept, was the most sacred of all, and could only be entered by the high priest once a year on the Day of Atonement. Maintaining the sanctity of the tabernacle and its various components was of utmost importance. The laws of purity and impurity were designed to prevent the contamination of the sacred space by unclean persons or objects. This was not just a matter of hygiene or health. It was a spiritual concern. The Israelites believed that the presence of God was a consuming fire, and any impurity that entered the sanctuary could result in divine judgment. The story of Nadab and Abihu, who were consumed by fire for offering strange fire that God had not commanded, serves as a stark warning of the consequences of violating the sanctity of the tabernacle. The Holiness Code, found in chapters 17 to 26, extends the concept of holiness beyond the cultic life of the Israelites to all aspects of their daily existence. These laws address a wide range of issues, including sexual conduct, social justice, and ethical behavior. The underlying principle is that the Israelites are to be holy because God is holy. This means that they are to set themselves apart from the surrounding cultures and live according to God's standards of righteousness and justice. The Holiness Code emphasizes the importance of treating others with compassion and respect, avoiding exploitation and oppression, and maintaining a just and equitable society. One of the most well-known passages from the Holiness Code is the command to love your neighbor as yourself, Leviticus chapter 19, verses 18. This command, which Jesus later recognized as the second greatest commandment after loving God, underscores the ethical dimension of holiness. It is not enough to be ritually pure. The Israelites must also be morally upright and compassionate in their dealings with others. The Holiness Code also includes laws that promote social justice, such as the command to leave the corners of the fields and the gleanings of the harvest for the poor and the stranger, Leviticus chapter 19, verses 9 to 10. These laws reflect a concern for the welfare of the marginalized and the vulnerable in society. The book of Leviticus is not just a collection of laws and rituals. It is a guide for living a holy life in a world that is often characterized by impurity and disorder. The laws and practices described in Leviticus are designed to create a community that is set apart for God, a community that reflects the holiness and righteousness of its divine ruler. While many of the specific laws and rituals may no longer be observed in their original form, the underlying principles of holiness, purity, and ethical living continue to resonate in the lives of people today. In the end, Leviticus is a book that challenges us to consider what it means to live a life that is dedicated to God and to others. It invites us to set aside the things that separate us from God and from one another, and to embrace a way of life that is characterized by love, justice, and holiness. Leviticus may be an ancient text, but its message remains as relevant and compelling as ever.